Hey folks, this is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. There have been a lot of videos put online here lately about searching. Um, should we search inmates? Should we not search inmates? When do we search inmates? How do we search inmates? I'm coming at you as a captain in the Florida Department of Corrections, and I'm telling you, search your inmates. Search them every chance you get. Do not ever miss an opportunity to search your inmates. Search them often. Um, we have a requirement in the Florida Department of Corrections for a certain number of searches per quarter. And it is a percentage. I'm not going to go into the details. I'm not going to tell you our policy and procedures. If you work in Florida Corrections, you already know. Okay. Um, Search your inmates. Always. Every chance you get, search your inmates. Um, there are different types of searches that you can perform. Uh, a pat search, which is your basic frisk. Everybody knows what a frisk is. Not very many people know what a clothed pat search is, but a frisk, everybody knows what that is. It's a pat search. It's the inmate remains clothed, and you search the inmate's body utilizing your hands. Of course, you want same sex. You want a male officer pat searching male inmates. Female officers can pat search male inmates, but male officers cannot pat search female inmates. Um, when it comes to transgender and gender dysphoric inmates, then if they are in a male institution and they are transgender, a female officer will pat search that inmate. Um, Simply to allay any feelings of sexual harassment, i.e., I identify as a female, therefore, this man can't, this male officer can't pat search me. Okay. I don't know about any other organization, but that is the way we treat it in the state of Florida. Um, that being said, the second search is an unclothed body search, commonly referred to as a strip search. And the strip search is definitely conducted unless there is an emergency situation by a member of the same sex. You're in a male institution, you get strip searched by male staff. You're at a female institution, you get strip searched by female staff. That's all there is to it. Period. End of the story. We're not going any further into this. Area searches. Area searches. If you ever walk through your dormitory and you are not performing a cursory area search, you have not worked in the Department of Corrections for very long. Do your area searches. Okay. You walk in the bathroom, if you're not looking for what's obvious, you're going to miss it. You walk through your day room, if you're not looking for what's obvious, you're going to miss it. Okay. Case in point. Okay. Give you a couple of examples. Inmates have cell phones. They're not supposed to. They're not allowed to, but they have them. They get them in somehow or another. God knows how. I don't. If I knew how, we'd stop it immediately. But they get them in. They get them in all the time. And I have had them bold enough to plug their phone in to the same receptacle the water fountain is plugged into and put the phone on top of the water fountain with a rag covering it. Nobody checked it. Nobody searched it. I had one officer that did, and man, we started knocking off cell phones pretty regular. Okay, always search your areas. Um, Inmates have tablets. Inmates have MP3 players. Inmates have MP4 players. Inmates have various items of technology that have a light up screen. That has made a lot of staff complacent when they're walking through their area, just doing an area search. They see an inmate on what appears to be a tablet. They don't question it. It's a tablet. Question it. Ask to see it. Have that inmate hand it to you. Check it. Okay? Check it. What's it going to hurt to check it? What's it going to hurt that convict to hand you his tablet, let you look at it, inspect it, and then hand it back to him? Okay? What's it going to hurt for that inmate to be looking at his tablet and hand you the tablet and you hand the tablet back to him? Nothing. Nothing. It's not going to hurt anything. But if that inmate is sitting there playing on a touchscreen cell phone and you dismiss it as, oh, well, it's his tablet, we've lost. We've absolutely lost. Okay? The last type of search, and in my opinion, the most intrusive type of search, is the locker search. You're going through that inmate's cell. You're going through his locker. You're going through his personal belongings. You're going through his property. There's certain things you want to look out for when you are searching an inmate's property, okay? Number one, we are not allowed to read an inmate's legal work. We're not. We're just not. I don't know about any other state, but in Florida, we're not allowed to read an inmate's legal work. That does not mean we can't look through it. Does not mean we can't skim through it. Does not mean we can't look for markers on the page that verify that it is indeed legal work. I watched a sergeant go through an 8-inch stack of legal work. And before he gave it to the inmate in a confinement unit, he did it right in front of the cell, right where the inmate could watch every single thing he was doing, right where the camera could watch every single thing he was doing and record it. He handed the inmate about 2.5 inches worth of legal work after he got done removing the 6.5 inches, that's like this, of gang paraphernalia, of literature for his gang that he uses to recruit people in the prison system. Okay, I have seen, in my career, I have seen cell phones in Pop-Tart bags. I have seen cell phones in chip bags that have been resealed with glue. I have seen cell phones in between the 2 packages of noodles in a ramen noodle pack. I have seen gold chains that the inmates stole from other inmates inside cellophane that they got from food service, that we give them from food service, inside their shampoo bottle. Inside their shampoo bottle. People pick up a bottle of shampoo, they set it down. It's been searched. No, it hasn't. Shiny flashlight through it. Hard objects will show through. I have seen pouches sewn into the front of underwear where if you are not willing to put your hands, after you put gloves on, of course, take your PPE precautions. If you're not willing to put your hands somewhere, be it an inmate's underdrawers, an inmate's nether regions during a pat search, or inside something that you just find degrading, like the toilet. The toilet, if you got to reach into the toilet to grab a piece of contraband, make sure you're wearing gloves, but do it. Do it. The inmates know what you are and what you are not willing to touch. And if they know you're not willing to touch their drawers, that's where you're going to find their stuff, is in their drawers. Okay? Look for false bottoms in their foot lockers. Photo albums. Photo albums are my personal favorite. What better place to hide a drug like Suboxone than behind a photograph in your photo album? Or in a card that you get from the chaplain. The chaplain gives the cards out a certain time of year. Inmates make the card out, put a stamp on it, send it to their family. It's a beautiful thing. I have nothing wrong with that. Check the cards. Every single time that I go into a search, I check those things. Now, of course, there are going to be times when you're going to do a more intrusive search. During a mass search, when you go in with a crew, possibly have a canine detector or canine unit with you to detect the presence of narcotics and what have you. You're going to do a more intrusive search. You're going to do a harder search, okay? If you have a count going on, count takes you 10 minutes. It is a 30-minute count. you have 20 minutes. And during the remainder of that count, while the inmates are on their bunks, you have their undivided attention. Search them. Search them. Get your count done first. Get it done. Get a good, solid count. Get it correct. Call it in to the control room so that it can be tabulated and count can clear. But after you're done with that, search. Search. If you happen to work in an open population secure cell housing unit, i.e. the inmates live in 2-man cells instead of a barracks open bay style dormitory, you have an advantage during count. If you see something suspicious, once you get done counting that wing, pull those 2 inmates out of that cell, send them in the day room, lock that cell. That becomes your area at that point. Once you remove the inmates and secure it, it's yours. You can come back at your leisure and search that cell. You absolutely can. There's other things that you need to look for, okay? I can't tell you the definitive end-all be-all where you are going to find every bit of contraband inside of an inmate's footlocker or in his area. I don't know that. I know where I search. I know what I do to find contraband. But I don't know every trick. If I did, I'd be a god amongst correctional officers. I'm not a god. There's only one God. There's only one. I am not him. So I'm still learning. Okay? But let me go on ahead and tell you, I've told you what to search. I've told you the types of searches. Let me tell you who to search. I do not make it a habit of searching the inmate that every time I walk into that wing, he speaks to me. He wants to be near me. He wants to hold a conversation with me. He wants to have that rapport with me. That is the diversion. If he volunteers to be searched, which I have that all the time. Hey, boss, you in here to search? I'm willing. Come on, let's do this. That's a diversion. Search him later. Don't do it right then. Don't do it when he volunteers. Don't do it every time you walk into the wing first, because he's the diversion. He's the one that you're going to be searching while everybody else is moving their contraband. Don't search the volunteer first. Search him. Search him. Because he's in league with the people that are hiding the contraband, make no mistake. But don't search him first. Okay? Do not search the inmate that is your workhorse. He's the one that you depend on to get everything done in the dormitory. Don't search him right on the cuff. Search him. He's an inmate. Search him. Absolutely. Don't make it a priority. Okay? Don't search the volunteer first. Don't make your workhorse search a priority. Don't search him first either. The one that I want to search first is the one that never speaks to me. The one that does everything he can to avoid me. The one that has multiple inmates throughout the day come to his bunk, sit down, hold a conversation, go somewhere else. Go to his bunk, sit down, hold a conversation, go somewhere else. Go to his bunk, sit down, hold a conversation, go somewhere else. There's a reason. Either he's running something, he's selling something, or he has something that everybody else wants. I want what he has, because what he has is inherently contraband, and I want it. I want it, I want it, I want it. I'm going to go find it. I'm going to go get it. I'm also going to search every single person that I have seen go to that inmate's bunk. Every one of them. If there is a group of people, as soon as you walk into the wing, this group of people disperse. Every time you walk in the wing, they disperse. Every time you walk in the wing, they disperse. Wherever they are congregated at, search it. Whoever they're congregated with, search him. Search them too. Search them too. Make a search list. Do it. They know how officers act. They comport themselves accordingly. If they know you're afraid to touch their drawers, they're going to hide their stuff in their drawers. If they know that you're not willing to get on your hands and knees and crawl up under the bunk, guess where the contraband's going to be? It's going to be under the bunk where you have to crawl on your hands and knees to get to it. Okay? Folks, search the inmates. Do your intelligence. Do your reconnaissance. Rather than sitting there talking to your buddies on the phone, pay attention to your inmates. Get a plan together of who you want searched. And when you have an opportunity, by God, get out on that floor and search those inmates. It is their job to hide contraband from us. It is our job to find it and take it. Know your contraband policy for your institution and your department. Know what is deemed contraband in your department. Know what you can take, what you can't take, what you can't read, what you can read, what religious items can only be touched by the inmate, and what religious items the inmate will fight over. Okay? Know that before you go into it. Do not, and I can't stress this enough, do not go into a search by yourself. Have somebody with you. Have somebody watching your back. Do not ever go into a search by yourself. There are times, and I'm talking a locker search, okay? Do your area searches by yourself. Do your area searches by yourself. You're going to walk through that dorm by yourself, okay? You just are. It's the nature of our business. Pat search an inmate, do it by yourself. Strip search an inmate, you can do that by yourself. But if you're going into an area where you have to turn your back to the convict population in order to kneel down and get in that foot locker or crawl underneath a bunk to discover contraband underneath the bunk in the back corner of a cell, have somebody there to cover your back. Have somebody there with you to watch you. Okay? Search your inmates. If you are assigned, let's say it's Delta Dorm. Delta Dorm was my first dorm when I made sergeant. I'll go on ahead and say that, okay? Let's say wherever you are is Delta Dorm. Delta Block, Delta Wing, whatever. Delta. If you are assigned to Delta, the inmates that are assigned to Delta are yours. Take ownership of them. Okay? It should offend you if somebody else comes in and searches your inmates for you. You should be offended. You should absolutely be offended because you are responsible for those inmates. You're absolutely responsible for those inmates, okay? I'm going to tell you how hard a search can be. Actually, no, I'm going to tell you how easy a search can be. I was standing at the center gate one day. Inmate walks up, wants to talk to the center gate officer. Which center gate officer? That's the hub. That dude knows everybody on the compound. Most of them by name. He knows them, okay? While this inmate is talking to the center gate officer, I put a pair of gloves on, reached out, and took the homemade weapon out of his back pocket. And then we put him in hand restraints and took him to confinement. It's not hard, people. When an inmate is bold enough to carry a weapon around with him everywhere he goes in his back pocket, it's not hard. Okay? Luckily, we nipped that in the bud. That weapon never got used. Thank God that we were able to recover it. Okay? I'm going to go on ahead and tell you what is the most dangerous piece of contraband that you are going to come across. The absolute most dangerous piece of contraband that you're ever going to come across. It has nothing to do with weapons. Not a thing in the world to do with weapons. Inmates have weapons. A tube sock and a combination lock. That's a weapon. Inmates are going to have them. A cell phone is the most dangerous piece of contraband that an inmate has. Because with a weapon, tube sock and a lock, weapon that he made out of a piece of locker, a shank this long that can run you through from one side to the other, threatens you. Threatens your coworkers. That inmate gets hold of a cell phone, he can target your family. That is the most dangerous piece of contraband that an inmate can have. And every one of them needs to be confiscated. Every one of them. Folks, this is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. I hope I've helped you in some kind of way with your career. Remember, search your inmates. Search them often. Make a plan. Gather your intelligence. Get the troops together. Go in there and search your inmates. Okay? Watch your inmates. You'll notice their patterns. Do your intelligence. Do your reconnaissance. search your inmates. Remember, there is no place for domestic violence in this world. We got to get rid of it. I have lost too many good people to domestic violence. I have lost too many officers and sergeants to domestic violence. I have seen the effects of it. I have seen it end in the suicide of a family friend of mine. There is no place for that in this world. If you are a victim or you know a victim, 1-800-799-SAFE. 1-800-799-SAFE. The people at the other end of that phone have the resources and the ability to help you. Okay? If you know the abuser, say something to somebody. The worst thing you can say is nothing. Worst thing you can do is nothing. And if you are the abuser, there's help for you. There's absolutely help for you. First thing you got to do is understand that you need it. Second thing you got to do is ask for it. The help will be provided. All right? This is David Smith at Correctional Officer Lifestyle. If you like what you see, hit the like button. You want to see more, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications when I post new videos. And engage. People engage with me. Write some comments. Let me know what you're thinking. All right? Let me know what you're thinking. I will respond. I might not do it immediately, but I always respond to my comments. Remember, I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper. Stay safe, bond defense. I'll see you on the next video.